What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Touchdown with yours truly, Doug Smith. So happy that you guys are able to take and tune in here today. A lot of craziness going on in the world. As I'm sure you have heard, the world is turned upside down, y'all. COVID-19 has got us. But hey, don't worry. We're going to have a lot of fun here today. I want to put a little video together for you guys to take and ultimately get your minds off of things. Really quick before we get started, we have a NFL draft happening, guys. April 23rd is right around the corner. Y'all, we have been talking about this draft since before the NFL season even started. Tank for Tua and all kinds of crazy stuff happening. We got Joe Burrow, the guys over. Guys, this has probably been one of the biggest NFL offseason in NFL history. One of the biggest ones, y'all. And we had Tom Brady become a Buccaneer. I mean, could you guys picture 2-3 years ago when they were holding that Lombardi trophy? Would you ever picture Tom Brady ultimately becoming a Tampa Bay Buccaneer? Not me. But anywho, as you guys know, NFL draft is coming amongst us, and it is right around the corner. And this is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before, you guys. Unfortunately, with COVID-19, this is going to be the first ever draft that's going to be virtual. First ever draft. There's not going to be any war rooms like you saw in the movie with Kevin Costner, I believe it was. You know, there's not going to be any type of war room. There's not going to be any club personnel. You have to meet in different locations. This is going to be very, very interesting in everything from negotiating and everything from, meeting with players, talking to them. I mean, this has affected everything, even players who just got signed in our recent free agency. I mean, there's just been a lot going on, but nonetheless, this is going to be a fun draft, and this has already been a very fun off season. But let's go ahead. Let's get into it. The first thing I want to cover in this video is that we're going to take and talk about trades, guys. Who's going to be trading up in the draft? And who is going to be trading back in the draft, okay? We have teams like the Kansas City Chiefs we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Miami Dolphins, who got more draft capital and can do whatever they want in this draft. They could have their way. But let's get into it, all right? So first person I want to take and talk about, before we get into trades, let's cover just some very brief highlights of what has happened so far in this offseason. Tom Brady became a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, signed a 2-year, $50 million deal Friday. A couple Fridays ago, and every single penny is going to be going into his pockets. That's $50 million guaranteed. So we got that had happened. Big things happening over there in Tampa Bay, y'all. I mean, Bruce Arians, year 2 as a coach. They got rid of the defensive player of the year, Jameis Winston. Amazing talent, but yeah, he is gone. We also have Cowboys. They franchise tagged Dak Prescott. Now, guys, Dak Prescott, I live in Texas, so I got to hear it all the time. But this guy, he's a good talent. He is very good. The first year, there was a huge buzz about him because everybody had film on Tony Romo. Well, he gets injured. Here comes this guy, Dak, who he does play very different. He is a quarterback. Some call him a dual threat quarterback. I feel he's more of a pocket passer, but not the most accurate guy. But he did have a very good year last year. So let's see what happens this year. But are the Cowboys, the question is, are they completely sold on Dak Prescott? A lot happened. There was a lot of negotiating, and I don't know, y'all. I think with a very quarterback deep draft coming up, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if they're so sold on Dak yet. They might just hold on to him one more year, and if they get somebody who's better, he's out of there. So I know, what's his name? Jerry Jones, he doesn't get cramps on his hands, but I don't know. Is he getting cramps on how Dak Prescott plays? We'll have to see. We got Cam Newton. He is a free agent. Now, he was released by the Carolina Panthers March 24th, and that's, I'll be honest with you guys, I expected Cam to be on another roster within 2 to 3 days. Cam is probably one of the most polarizing players in the NFL. One of my favorite players, actually. He's not perfect. He's made some mistakes, but you know what? Compared to other NFL players who've body slammed people, I'll take Cam any day. He loves the game of football. A sore loser, probably one of the biggest sore losers. He needs to work on that, of course, but I like Cam Newton a lot. So in an already quarterback deep draft, a lot of teams are loading up, okay? Also, as well, we had a lot of quarterback free agents, including the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. Now, where does that leave room for Cam Newton? Oh, and you guys forgot, we had COVID-19 happen. So he's not able to meet with these teams in person, practice in front of them, like a lot of other quarterbacks have got to experience in the past. So that is one thing to take and keep in mind, okay? But Cam Newton, I hope he lands on his feet, but we're going to talk about that more here in a second. We got Jameis Winston. Man, he had a monster year, both in interceptions and touchdowns. First ever quarterback in NFL history to throw 30 touchdowns and also 30 interceptions in the same season. He did lead the NFL in passing as well too, but they also missed the playoffs. What a punch in the gut, man. I mean, it's one thing if it's like, okay, you turn it around, come the playoffs, come towards the end of the season, but that didn't happen. He threw a lot of pick sixes, and a guy like Bruce Arians, who already got blood pressure, he's already had heart problems in the past. Yeah, Tom Brady was probably just an easy signing for him, and I know Tom Brady's probably enjoying getting a little more money in his paycheck than Massachusetts, where he used to live at. Anywho, next slide here. A couple other notable free agents is going to be Jadeveon Clowney. He may or may not sign with the Seahawks. I was very hesitant to put him on the list. I personally think he's going to sign, but for other teams that are looking on drafting up, then guys, there are some really good linebackers and really, really good defensive ends in this draft. So he may or may not stay over there in Seattle. We also got Logan Ryan. Man, he had an awesome year last year. Played a very crucial part in the secondary for the Tennessee Titans. Mike Daniels, Prince Amukamara, Everson Griffin, excuse me. I love his personality, man. That guy is a ball of light whenever he's speaking, man. That guy, and he's a beast on the field. That's one of those guys, I see him playing football till 40, y'all. I mean, he just loves the game of football. One of my favorite DNs, actually. Damon Harrison, that guy's a boss hog, man. He's really good. Eli Apple, he's up, he's down, and he's a free agent. So, but he has decent numbers. He's not bad. Rashad Jones from my Miami Dolphins. That guy, man, I love Rashad Jones. Had a monster year. I think it was 2016, 2017. But it's been banged up the past couple years. So, do teams want to take a risk on that? I personally would. But yeah, love Rashad Jones, but he's getting a little bit older, getting up there in age. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes, y'all. Teams trading up. Okay? So, here's our draft listing. We got the first round pick going to the Cincinnati Bengals, and rumor has it is that they're going to go after Joe Burrow. He's an Ohio kid, and it looks right. It just looks right him ending up there, However, will somebody take that? Here comes the Miami Dolphins, y'all. They are in desperate need of a quarterback. Recently, they have expressed extreme interest in LSU quarterback and national champion Joe Burrow, aka the Terminator. But they also they may take and move up. Again, there's not a more polarizing team with draft capital than the Miami Dolphins. Now, let's be real, y'all. The Miami Dolphins have absolutely sucked when it comes to taking and developing talent and retaining talent at that. I don't get it. Miami's a great place to be. I went there last summer with my family, had a freaking blast. Great town. You get more bang for your buck because the taxes, they ain't going to take so much out of your check. But for whatever reason, it's just been a very toxic place until Brian Flores showed up last season. And man, as a Dolphins fan, this has really been a roller coaster for me personally. But very, very, very excited for what's going on in Miami. They may stay put at 5-2 because, again, they may go for Tua Tagovailoa. Another thing I want to take and cover, and let's talk about the LA Chargers. Now, they also have been shown to show great interest in Tua Tagovailoa as well, too. Great interest. However, Phillip Rivers, he got released, and now he's over there in Indianapolis, getting ready to be the general of a brand new team over there, okay? Well, one thing I want to take and mention is that Cam Newton is still on the market. Jameis Winston is still on the market. They didn't go after them, at least not that I know of. But I could guarantee that they're going to try to get a quarterback. Are they going after Justin Herbert? Or are they going to try to go after Tua Tagovailoa? Now, what gets real crazy is just yesterday, I want to say April 9th, Tua Tagovailoa, a NFL doctor of one, and here's the thing, they're keeping it anonymous, but he is a doctor of one of the top 10 teams top teams that have a draft pick. But he's maintaining anonymous, okay? Took and said that he is not ready to play football again, that he would not take and let him start, and that his injury is not completely healed. That throws everything that we've been taught and known throughout this whole offseason. Everything. But then again, is it a smokescreen? Is it Miami themselves who are going to try to, hey, sabotage, trick other teams, and have their way? I don't know, guys, but yeah, get your popcorn ready for April 23rd. It's going to be excited. But anywho, the next people who I want to talk about, or excuse me, teams that might be trading up, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they're needing a lot more weapons. They have Carson Wentz, and I like Carson Wentz. He's been banged up the past couple years. They won a Super Bowl, not with his arm. Shout out to Nick Foles. But they got a lot of... This is probably one of the most wide receiver deep drafts I've seen in probably my lifetime. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy. Those are some of the big hitters that are going to take and be in the first round. But also... with Philadelphia Eagles having the 21st pick, are any of those guys even going to take and be there? So that's the question. But if they do stay put, I think they'll still get a hitter anyways. There's a lot of teams need edge rushers. A lot of teams need offensive linemen. A lot of teams are on the cusp of really being great, and they just need their one or two positions away. So Philadelphia Eagles, what are they going to do? I personally think a guy like, Henry Ruggs. I do see Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb possibly going to the Carolina Panthers. Again, not a mock draft in this video. But again, I see that guy being gone within top 10, and then maybe even the Oakland Raiders picking up either Ruggs or CeeDee Lamb. So I do see possibly one of those guys sliding a little bit, but who knows? Next team I want to talk about, the New England Patriots. Now, Bill Belichick is a very conservative guy when it comes to the draft. It kills me to say this, but guys, the Patriots are probably some of the greatest, probably one of the greatest teams ever of developing talent. And also retaining that talent and getting people who actually want to be there. Because of this, you have a lot of other teams who try to, emulate what is going on over there in New England, But one thing I will take and say, the New England Patriots, they just lost the stable of their team. Their franchise quarterback, Tom Brady. Okay, I thought it was a classy breakup. Obviously there was some shenanigans, there was some stuff going on behind closed doors, but I think Tom Brady wanted something new. I think he wanted to change the pace. I feel like he wanted more control of the playbook, which I think Bruce Arians is not going to have a problem doing that for good old Tom B-boy. But who will they get? Who will they draft up for? The quarterback is the most position in the game, as many of you know. They have a lot of the pieces still up there in New England. Do they feel comfortable with Jarrett Stidham? That I don't know. I love Jarrett Stidham. He was the king of high school football here in Texas. If you guys ever get a chance, there's a couple of nice documentaries on YouTube about that kid. Bright young man, bright young future. But that future may not be with the New England Patriots. So we'll see what happens. I'm very inclined to say that the Patriots could go after a guy if Jordan Love was the slide. They may possibly go after him, but also picture them possibly using a second or third round pick to get a quarterback later on. There's going to be some mid-range guys who are big question marks. Love is kind of one of them. Herbert's kind of one of them. One of those guys are on a slide. One of them's going to go pretty early, I predict. But there's also Eason from Washington. Very, very great arm. There's also that quarterback from Hawaii. White kid with the dreads. You have to forgive me, I forgot his name, but yeah, he's also very good. Some of these guys are going to be around in the third, even fourth round. So we'll see what happens. My favorite mid-round quarterback, I say mid-round, second to fourth round quarterback, I'd have to say is Jalen Hurts. That guy loves football. He's a bona fide leader. Steve Mariucci, he passed his whiteboard test, actually. So very, very smart guy. Huge fan of Jalen Hurts. Probably my top 3 favorite quarterback in the draft. Does have some accuracy issues, but can they do something with him in New England? I think absolutely. Okay. Next team I want to talk about, New Orleans Saints. My wife's favorite team. My wife's from New Orleans, y'all. This city, I tell you, Drew Brees, much like Tom Brady in New England, Drew Brees has played since he left San Diego Chargers in the mid 2000s. Has played such an intricate part of the city, where it's donated money to victims, race relations going on in the city, and also winning a damn Super Bowl, man. The Drew Brees is the freaking man. One of my favorite quarterbacks, probably top 3 favorite quarterback in the league. The guy signed a 2-year contract and recently Sean Payton had a slip up in one of his press conferences and said that, hey, this guy, he actually might be retiring in a year. So we'll see what happens with that. But do they want to get somebody groomed and ready? Are they super duper confident in the backup quarterback over there in New Orleans? So just a couple things to think about. They may stay put as well too, because what makes this very tricky is that there's a lot of hitters in this in this draft. A lot of good defensive linemen, some good linebackers. But the Saints, a lot of them predict them to go to the Super Bowl this past season and possibly this upcoming season. They're literally one or two pieces away from making it. Are they going to make one last push? Are they going to try to plan for the future? So that's a big question that's on my mind. I've looked at a lot of these trading up type drafts from CBS Sports, NFL Network, and that was one that was left out that really stuck out to me, y'all. So keep an eye on them. We'll see what happens. And as we finish up the video, teams trading back. So what we got here, I want to take and talk about is the Detroit Lions. Now they're sitting pretty at number 3. And they, for a long time, people were taking and saying, Miami Dolphins, they're gonna get Tua Tagovailoa. But up until about a month and a half ago, they recently made a statement that no, they're sticking with Matthew Stafford. I don't know what's going on over there in Detroit. Recently, they lost their Darius Slay, I think it was. They ended up taking and losing their best cornerback, due to an argument with Matt Patricia. Also, as well, they have a lot of good pieces over there. I saw glimpses of the Detroit Lions where I was just like, wow, like they're going to go to playoffs. I remember seeing that game that they played against Minnesota, and it was like Mike Tyson and Holyfield, man, or like it was a great matchup. But nonetheless, they lost lots of games, hence they're number 3 in the draft. But I do picture them moving back because they don't seem to have much of a real plan, and you got teams like the Miami Dolphins who might potentially move up. But I only see the Dolphins moving up to get Burrow, to be honest with you. I don't see them going up anything. If they can't get Burrow, then hey, sit pretty at 5. But that is always a possibility that the San Diego Chargers could indeed get that number 3 spot and end up cutting in front of Miami to get Tua Tagovailoa. Again, that's if it's not a smoke screen, but we'll see what happens. Next team, the Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. I said Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs, man, these guys balled out last year, man. I'm going to say something about the Chiefs. They, usually when guys win the Super Bowl, they're trying to get paid. Look at the Baltimore Ravens a couple years ago. They got paid. They lost half of their starters to other teams. People got paid and they had to start all over again. I'm not seeing that too much in Kansas City, y'all. This is a very deep draft. They are very, very much likely to take and do a repeat. Very likely. But one thing I do want to take and mention is that with Kansas City, being the Super Bowl champs, do they need it? Do they need that 31st spot? Do they need it? Now, I'll be honest with you. I think that they should take and stay put. But it's a very possibility into such a deep draft. And they do have a couple holes to fill, y'all. They do have a couple holes to fill. In that game versus Tennessee, Kansas City didn't look good. And for much of the 49ers game, Kansas City did not look good. Now, the heroics of Patrick Mahomes is on an astronomical level. It is. That guy is a thoroughbred. He's on his way. To me, he's already a Hall of Famer. Just the stuff he's doing. He has the support that Aaron Rodgers should have had up over there in Green Bay instead of them becoming complacent. I see Andy Reid just getting warmed up. I feel like the ghosts of his past, of them making, all those NFC championships and not doing anything with it, are now gone. He finally got the ring. One of my favorite coaches of all time, top 5. Just a personal opinion, that's all. But I do see them taking and drafting back. I do see them taking again a lot of mid-round guys in the 2nd round, 3rd round. There's going to be a lot of movement, y'all, and there are going to be a few people who do slide. You had a lot of good teams out there. I know Denzel Mims is going to be hanging out probably 2nd or 3rd round. I mean, you have a lot of guys out there who, they're going to be there waiting there for the Kansas City Chiefs if they do take and decide to trade back. But we'll see. Just an assumption at the end of the day. And then lastly, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, past couple of drafts, it is no secret that the Seattle Seahawks have taken and traded back. No secret. They've done this for several years. And it's been very, very good for them. And you guys got to think, the Seattle Seahawks, they've gotten quite a few people in the mid rounds. They've gotten their quarterback, Russell Wilson. They've gotten a lot of guys on their team, so that's just a team to take a look out for that, does typically trade back, and it's very, very, very much likely, when you have guys on their team who, brought them to the Super Bowl, not just good players, but guys like Bobby Wagner, guys like Shaquille Griffin, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, all Pro Bowlers, mind you, all Pro Bowlers. So they're sitting pretty at the 27th pick. And again, guys, this is a very deep draft. I don't see the players getting very garbage until, maybe the 6th or 7th round. Even the 5th, there's going to be some guys hanging around who should have been picked up earlier. So, but do keep an eye on the Seattle Seahawks. Last year, for example, I believe it was 2019 or 2018 draft, they ended up trading back 2 times. So they traded back and they traded back again for even more picks. So much like the New England Patriots, they're very good at retaining talent, very good. They've had players for a very, very long time, whereas some teams, they struggle with that and they end up hitting the reset button every 3 to 5 years, and you really can't build a team with that, y'all. So, but big shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. They've been good for a long time. One of probably the top 3 most consistent team in the NFL the last decade. So it's going to be interesting what the next couple years brings for them. Another thing I will take and say for a guy like Russell Wilson, these mega contract quarterbacks, some of them haven't won a ring yet, but even the ones who have won a ring, they have gotten their money. It's very hard to win a Super Bowl after that because you're hogging a lot of the cap room. So hopefully, I think out of all those mega contract quarterbacks, the one that is closest, the one that stands out to me the most is going to be your guy, Russell Wilson. So we'll see what happens. They have more than just a few holes to fix, but they have a lot of great coaching up over there in the Northwest, over there in Seattle. So we'll see what happens. But guys, that's all I got today. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys agree with me, if you felt like I left something out, if you have an opinion that's different, as I told you guys, I'm a Dolphins fan, but listen, I'm unbiased. I have no problem with giving other teams props. So thank you guys for tuning in, putting up with me for the past couple minutes here. Make sure you go ahead, drop a like, drop a share, hit the alert button so you can go ahead and take and get your alerts, and also subscribe now. Once again, God bless you guys. Be safe out there. Dangerous world, dangerous times that we are living in. My prayers are with you all. And make sure you subscribe now. Stay in touch. And got a lot more fire coming in the next couple weeks. Take care. Peace and love.
The touchdown.